Hey guys, hope you're well. And in this video, I'm going to give you three manifestation tips that have helped me, myself, manifest a lot of things in my life, take accountability for a lot of things in my life, and have helped a lot of my clients go through this journey too. If you want to see how my clients actually do when it comes to manifesting, you should go on my Instagram and check out my success story highlights. There are 12 success story highlights there, and there are multiple, I think around 40 to 50 videos here on YouTube where I've discussed client experiences. Yet to update some highlights there. I think there are a lot of more highlights that are yet to be updated, but this is not to brag about that. It is, but it is not just to brag about that. It is also to get you into this place where I'm trying to explain that this works, but it only works if you're applying it to the best of your ability. So today it was raining outside, it was a beautiful weather, and I was just talking to one of my clients about these things. And I thought that I will make a video on this because I think that these three tips will absolutely be helpful for you in your manifestation journey. Now, these three all are different tips, they are not related to each other, but they are very inspired by recent conversations that I'm having. So, watch till the end, you will understand a lot and you will start to apply these things in your life. And you will, of course, if you start applying, you will see massive results from it. So, the first tip, stop letting your past define what you're going to do now. I will help you understand this with the help of an example, because if I give it to you in the help of an example, you would be able to understand and connect it to your situation better. So let's say there are two women. One is Julia and one is Maria, right? Both, when they were younger, went through a very toxic relationship. Now, both of them were involved in a relationship where the guy cheated on them, and they eventually ended out of that relationship very devastated, not feeling good about themselves, not feeling good about relationships as a whole, and considering that they went through this without actually having a very big role to play in it, they feel very betrayed and they feel abandoned. Now, how Maria starts handling this is she's very devastated. So, when she's very devastated, the first thing that she starts to do is she starts drinking. She eventually gets to a place where she starts to constantly explain to her friends how she feels. But when a friend tries to give her a solution or even tries to help her out, she doesn't listen to it. Instead, she takes it as a personal attack because she thinks that everyone around her doesn't understand her and they are just trying to not help her, right? And no one understands the intensive feelings that she has. She starts to wallow a lot in self pity and she goes into a victim zone. Her life starts to get affected. Her relationships start to get affected. She has cut off contact with her friends. She is not doing well at her job. She is not doing well mentally. She has started to drink. Her health is going for a toss. And now, whenever she chooses to get involved with any people, any person, or any guy, first she unconsciously or consciously chooses men around her who are not fully available. A big reason being because her mind and her body doesn't trust her enough to get into a relationship where the full commitment is a possibility. Because if I get involved with some guy who actually has the possibility of giving me a full commitment, I would have to deal with it. But I'm not mentally in a position where I do want to deal with it. So might as well consciously pick people around me who are not available, so that if I start to get involved with them, the situation doesn't turn into anything serious and I don't have anything to worry about. And in the relationships where she actually meets a guy who is actually fully available, she starts sabotaging it by telling herself that, oh, you know what, maybe there is some fault with this person. Maybe he's not in that regard with me. Maybe that thing will not match. On the other hand, Julia also goes through the same breakup. And she's in that position where she isn't actually thinking in the regards that Maria is. So of course she's feeling bad because she was invested in this. But the pain that she's feeling now, she's starting to use that as fuel to tell herself that, you know what, I never in my life ever want to feel this way in relationships again. I never want to be in this position where I hurt myself with the idea that relationships are going to be this bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the help that I can, and I'm going to connect with as many people as possible, and I'm going to take a lot of help. Plus, I'm going to work on myself to a level where the next relationship I get into is with a high value individual who never treats me this way. So she starts working on herself. She starts taking help from therapists, coaches, Karan, me, just kidding. So yeah, she starts taking help, and she starts working on herself. She stays in touch with her friends. She allows her friends to help her. She is constantly building up new hobbies for herself so that she's occupied. She starts working on her physical body by taking care of herself. She starts going to the gym, not because of anything else, but because when she's doing that, she's feeling in control of her life and she's feeling better about herself. She's now feeling better about her circumstances. And even though she has these intensive feelings that come up again and again, when it comes to that guy who did this thing with her, she still pulls herself out of it and tells herself that, you know what, this feeling, this pain that I'm feeling is just an indication that I need to continue the work that I'm doing. And she does. Eventually, she ends up being in a place where she starts to believe that any guy would be lucky to have me, and I never have to be in a position where I'm going to suffer in relationships again, and eventually ends up being in the same place. Your past does not define you. Your past has already happened. At this current moment, it exists in three ways: one in your memories, two in your reactions, and three in your interpretations of life. All of these things can be changed. Of course, not instantly. These things take time. But if we constantly keep letting the past be the reason that we stop ourselves, it has hurt us twice. One in the moment that it actually hurt us, and one now because it is not letting us be the version of us who wants success and who can get it. If you look at this situation, both people went through the same situation. Julia used this as a sign of initiation and started working on herself, and Maria used this as a way to go into a downward spiral in life. I have been into Maria's shoes, and I know that they are not very healthy and not very happy because it is very addictive to get into that state and that zone, but it doesn't really help. Maria, if you are listening to this, if you are someone who is in this situation, you have the opportunity to get better and you have the opportunity to turn it around from here. Stop letting your past justify your current actions. Let's talk about the second tip, which is absolutely important. Always allow resistance and never run away from it. Let's understand what this means. When I say resistance, what I mean that by that is that opposite thoughts, negative feelings, circumstances. First thing that is important to see is that circumstances is a very normal part of the equation. Negative thoughts and feelings is very important part of the equation. I think what starts to happen is because there is so much information available which converts manifestation into toxic positivity that a lot of people are afraid to get a negative thought. But no person in this world exists who will never get a negative thought. Neither does a person exist who will never get a negative feeling. Because we start to demonize the concept of these things, we start to create judgment towards them. So, whenever I have a negative thought or a feeling, I start to judge myself for it. I start to tell myself that if I'm getting this thought or this feeling, I'm essentially doing something wrong. And because I create that, now I have to deal with two things. First, the negative feeling, and then the second, the judgment that I have provided on that feeling, because of which the struggle keeps on increasing. If I wouldn't be in a place where I wouldn't know about manifestation, I would be better off in this instance because I wouldn't judge this feeling and judge this thought this much. I would just slowly allow this in my life and just move forward with it. Your resistance is normal and is going to come no matter how great of a manifester you become or how great you become with it regulating your emotions or dealing with them, because it is a part of your life and it is supposed to be a part of your life. Stop letting yourself run away from it. It is something that you can deal with and something that you should deal with. I have a video linked in my description where I talk about how to deal with resistance. You can check it out where I discuss step by step methods on how you can deal with resistance when it comes to it. The third thing, and this one is going to be slightly triggering, so just bear with me. Stop blaming karma, your past, other people, other situations for your downfall. The thing with destiny, karma, things like that, and I will make a separate video on it. If you want one, just leave a comment down below saying destiny, and I will make a video on destiny because I think a lot of people are struggling with this concept. But a lot of times when people are talking about that, oh, you know what, this is just meant to be, I'm constantly in this relationship, unhealthy relationship cycle because it was meant to be, or this is my karma that is coming back. You are just taking away all the actions that you did that led you to this position to begin with. So I will give you an example. Let's say there is a guy named Joe, and this guy, he doesn't work on his health, he doesn't go to the gym, he doesn't take care of his diet, right? And then a few years later, he develops a heart issue and he starts to blame the world, saying that, you know what, this is just my destiny. I don't know why does this keep happening to me. He does know why it happens to him, because he doesn't take care of his health. And because he doesn't take care of his health, this happening to him is not a surprise. But it's very easy to put the blame on the world rather than take responsibility of the things that you are going through. Because if you do, you will feel guilty. But what you're not realizing is that feeling of acceptance, that guilt that you will develop, will be the thing that actually helps you to change. So taking responsibility of that is not just a want, it's a need. This is not me saying that there are many things in your life that are not happening that you have actually no part to play in it, where you actually are a victim of that circumstance. The issue is not that you are or you aren't, and this is not victim shaming. This is understanding that even if you are, painting yourself as a victim doesn't really help. Of course, in that moment, if you're going through something like that, of course, accept it, go through that. If you're struggling with something, your feelings matter. That was my second point. I'm someone who's always in support of dealing with your feelings that way. But don't let it become the reason that you aren't growing, and don't let it become an excuse because of which you aren't succeeding. This is very important to hear, and I hope that you really apply this in your life. Just like all these three tips, there are many other tips that I will be talking about in the coming videos because I want to make a series out of this. So I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share if you like the video. The link for my one-on-one coaching, my self-help courses, and my free newsletter are in the description box below.